They made a record for Mercury Records in 1962, but it didn't do that well. They were barely making enough money to get by. Dolly wanted to go home to graduate from high school just to show she could. Dolly still hated school. She wasn't popular and was shy around boys. Dolly thought she was ugly and she needed lots of makeup and powder. She was barely 5 feet tall. To look taller, she teased her bleached hair to be the biggest hair in school. She liked to look like a showgirl, but the other girls thought she looked trashy. Well, that wasn't nice. Dolly's love of music helped her survive. Dolly and Judy Ogle, still her best friend, played drums in the marching band. They wrote songs together during drum practice. In 1964, Dolly graduated from Sevier County High School. She was the first in her family to get a high school diploma. They were very proud of her. After the graduation, her classmates all met and announced their plans for the future. Dolly stood and said, "I'm going to Nashville, and I'm going to be a star." All her classmates burst out laughing. All that. It's not nice. Chapter 4, Nashville. The day after graduation, 18-year-old Dolly said goodbye to her family and got on the bus to Nashville. She carried paper bags full of stuff and a bag of biscuits. She cried for the whole 200-mile trip. Why go to Nashville? Memphis, Jackson, Clarksville, Nashville, Chattanooga, Knoxville, Tennessee. Nashville is the capital of Tennessee, but it's most famous as a center for country music. It is home to the Grand Ole Opry. One part of the city, called Music Row, has hundreds of country, gospel, and Christian music companies. It has recording studios, music publishers, labels, and radio stations. There are many clubs and places to hear and play music. The Country Music Hall of Fame in Museum is there, and the Country Music Awards Music Festival is held there every year. Dolly moved in with her uncle Bill and his wife and baby until she could get to work and find a place of her own. On her first day in Nashville, Dolly was waiting for her laundry in front of a wishy-washy laundromat when a handsome stranger called out to her, "Y'all gonna get sunburnt out there, little lady?" Dolly was such a country girl. She didn't know she shouldn't speak to strangers. That was how she met Caldine, her future husband. They started dating, but then Carl joined the army and was away for 2 years. Dolly's best friend Judy was away in the Air Force. Dolly was terribly lonely and homesick. Meanwhile, Uncle Bill helped Dolly meet more people in the music business. Every day Dolly knocked on doors and tried to give away tapes of her songs. No luck. She took waitress and office jobs to get by. Dolly finally got work singing on a local TV show at 5 a.m. every morning. It paid at 5 a.m. every morning. It paid enough for her to rent her own place, but Dolly had hardly any money left for food. Sometimes she ate ketchup, mustard, and water soup. Dolly was so hungry that she went into hotels and took leftovers from trays that people had put in the halls. On a visit home, everyone was shocked how skinny she was. Dolly and Uncle Bill headed out in his old station wagon to find places where they could perform. They often slept in the car, Uncle Bill in front and Dolly in back. They played in bars. Some places had chicken wire to protect performers from things thrown by the audience. Dolly was exhausted but still managed to write songs every day. She wrote over 100 songs in 3 years, some of them with Bill, also known as Uncle Bill or whatever. Dolly didn't just write love songs. She wrote about the ups and downs of country life, motherhood, children, mental illness, poverty, birth and death. Less than 2 years after high school, Dolly got to record with Bill for Monument Records, an important record in label in Nashville. Their records didn't do well, but Dolly was asked to appear on a TV show, Chicago Bandstand. Well, Monument Records, yes. Dolly flew there. It was her first time on an airplane. Dolly hated it. She never wanted to fly again. She still doesn't like it today. Slowly, Dolly was learning the business and of music, as well as writing and performing. Famous country singers Hank Williams Jr. and Kitty Wells recorded 2 of Dolly's songs. Dolly sang backup on a hit record for a well-known singer named Bill Phillips. He's a well-known singer, you kids. Yeah, kids. Her name wasn't on the label. People wondered who had the clear mystery voice. People were starting to notice Dolly. In 1965, Carl got back from the army. He and Dolly were still in love, and they wanted to get married. Dolly's record company thought it was a bad idea because she might lose fans if she had a husband. So Dolly and Carl got married secretly on May 30th, 1966 in Ringgold, Georgia. Carl has always been a very private man. Unlike Dolly, he doesn't like being in the spotlight. In fact, he has rarely even seen Dolly perform. Carl ran a road paving business in Nashville. Dolly was busy with her career and was often away from home, so they couldn't spend much time together. Most couples don't live this way. Gossip newspapers have always found their marriage very interesting. However, Dolly and Carl have been together for over 45 years. Dolly says, "We're really proud of our marriage. It's the first for both of us and the last." Chapter 5. In 1967, very few country music stars were women. Dolly was ready to fill the gap. Porter Wagner, a country music entertainer, had a very successful TV show. His girl singer, Norma Jean, left to get married, so Porter needed a new singer. Dolly and about 20 others tried out for the job. Porter liked Dolly's personality, and he hired her. The Porter Wagner Show. From 1960 to 1981, Porter Wagner toured the United States by bus from town to town with his TV country variety show. People loved the country music and corny jokes. Porter dressed in flashy clothes. He had pink and purple suits covered with rhinestones. Porter and his band, the Wagon Masters, entertained over 3 million viewers. He sang duets with his gal singer, Norma Jean, until Dolly replaced her. At first, Porter's audience was upset. They missed Norma Jean. They heckled Dolly and she left the stage in tears. Dolly suffered for 6 months, but she stuck it out. Over time, the audience grew to love her. She ended up working with Porter for 7 years. She later said it was the hardest and worst period of her life. But she also said those years were the most productive and growth-filled ones. Yeah, that it was so good. Dolly did 100 shows with Dolly did 100 shows a year with Porter, plus recording sessions. They might tape 2 TV shows in an hour. Porter was hospitalized for stress more than once. Dolly got only a few hours sleep each night. Sometimes she kept in her makeup and wig so she could get back to work early the next morning. Even with this schedule, she kept writing songs. Over the course of her career, she has written over 3,000. Dolly learned a lot from Porter Wagner. He taught her to be a professional and to always look like a star. In 1967, Dolly recorded a duet with Porter for RCA Records. It was in the top 10 country recording. 13 more hit duets followed, and 13 more hit duets followed, and many awards. Dolly made enough money to buy a Cadillac. It was a big fancy car and very exciting for a country girl. She had never had a car before and was a terrible driver, which made it even more exciting. Then Dolly was asked to record an album without Porter. Then Dolly was asked to record an album without Porter. This was an amazing chance. Okay, so Dolly drove her new car to the recording. Dolly drove her new car to the recording studio and crashed it into a brick wall in the studio parking lot. Dolly forgot to use the brakes, but luckily she wasn't hurt. And bricks were still falling on the hood as Dolly strolled into the studio as if nothing had happened. After the recording was done, everyone left and saw the smashed Cadillac stuck in the wall. What? Whose car is it? Whose car was it? Dolly was too smart to let on that it was hers. Now Dolly and Carl were able to buy a 2-story house south of Nashville. They were not able to have any children of their own, but they took in 5 of her younger brothers and sisters. They called Dolly Aunt Granny. Dolly's sister, Stella, took care of the kids while Dolly worked to support everybody. Only 3 years after she first went to Nashville, Dolly's hometown, declared Dolly Parton Day. 7,000 people in Sevierville came to a parade in her honor. Some of her high school classmates must have been in the crowd. They didn't laugh at her now. Dolly was doing exactly what she said she would. She was becoming a star. I'd love to be a star, huh? Dolly had a new hit album. Hello, I'm Dolly. The song Dumb Blonde was on that album. The word said, "'Cause this dumb blonde ain't nobody's fool." And Dolly was talking about herself because she was nobody's fool. Because she certainly was nobody's fool. In 1968, Dolly's album Just Because I'm a Woman was another hit. Dolly often sang about strong women. Ideas for songs often came to Dolly at night. By morning, she might have 10 new by morning she might have by morning she might have by morning she might have 10 new songs. There were songs about memories, feelings, country life, and the hardships of being poor. She wrote songs about her own problems too. She said as soon as she did, the problems went away. Dolly liked to sing tear-jerker songs that could make people cry. One song, Silver Sandals, was about a crippled girl who swaps her crutches for silver sandals so she can climb the golden stairs to heaven. The women's movement. By the 1960s, many women were no longer happy only being housewives and mothers. They wanted jobs. Jobs that up to that point had been considered men's jobs. Why couldn't more women be doctors, politicians, engineers, or scientists, or truck drivers, or carpenters, or police officers? Women also wanted the same pay that men got for doing the same job. The women's movement, also known as women's liberation or the feminist movement, worked to make all of this happen. Laws were passed to treat women fairly, and health care changed to better serve women's needs. Today, all of society owes much to the women's movement. At age 23, Dolly's long-held dream came true. She joined the cast of the Grand Ole Opry. Porter and Dolly did more duet albums, TV, and concerts. Porter was also Dolly's manager. He had wanted her to become a star, but now she was getting to be a bigger star than he was. But now she was getting to be a bigger star than he was. Songs that she wrote were more popular than his. That wasn't easy for Porter. In 1971, Dolly had a #1 country hit, Joshua. It was a touching song about a lonely man and woman who fall in love. The same year, Dolly sang Coat of Many Colors about the beautiful coat Avie Lee had made so long ago. In 1973, she had her biggest hit so far, Jolene, about a beautiful woman who takes away someone else's sweetheart. Things were happening fast. In one year, Dolly came out with 5 albums. 2 of them were duets with Porter. All were big hits. Suddenly, Dolly had money, lots of money. She was able to buy her parents a house and her mother her first car. Meanwhile, Dolly and Porter were not getting along. They fought and yelled at each other. Finally, they split up. Porter was bitter, but not Dolly. She was grateful to Porter for all that he had done. She wrote a song about him. I Will Always Love You. It was #1 on the country charts. Gotta stop.